Hello humans, Master Dinnerflex here, bringing you the low quality content you deserve, and today, you might have seen this in your feed, because as we all know, I have a 100% subscriber rate. Every single person that has ever watched my video is subscribed, because all the people that don't, I send, like, Terminator death robots to. I've explained this before, so, you have seen this in your feed, and it's a long video, but to put it simply, this is going to be a combo cheat sheet for agents. They're coming out. A lot more people are excited for this deck than I realized, which is actually pretty cool, because this deck is neat. So this video is going to be this, like, a bunch of combos that you can just do with this deck. It's going to show a bunch of different deck build, a bunch of different deck build ideas, and I'm going to leave timestamps in the description for each type of combo, explaining what each combo is. So now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and start this. Alright, so I guess let's get into it. So the first combo I'm going to show off is Venus. There's a lot of different ways you can go about it. You could minimize bricks, you can maximize bricks, but the combo I'm going to start off is we're just going to do Venus, and I want to get us to tuners. And in order to do that, in order to get a tuner without really ever doing much of anything, it's going to require a bit of work. It actually isn't. It's just going to require 2 extra deck slots that I don't think I would play normally, and then Dark Lord Asmodeus. So, what we need for this combo is Venus and 2 cards you are totally fine with tossing. So let's go ahead, pay our 1500 to get the Shine Balls out of the deck. So 1, 2, and 3. Now, I guess I should explain this while we link into the Condemned Dark Lord, is the reason tuner access is so important for this deck is, even though it can make some pretty decent boards without it, the ability to go into all your synchros and go into Fibrax is a huge thing for this deck, and even if they ban Fibrax, there's still a lot of value to these tuners. So, it's always nice to have access to tuners. So, having this just straight regular combo that accesses this is pretty nice. So we're going to activate Condemned Dark Lord, toss a card, and we are going to search Dark Lord Asmodeus. Now, both of these cards I don't think are ideal for what, like, the best version of this deck would look like. However, I could be wrong. Asmo's a pretty bad brick, and whenever Eva got banned, the number of useful things to send with it really got diminished. But anyways, let's go ahead and go into a Link 3 known as Celestial Night Lord Parshath. So this card is actually very good for this deck. You can discard a card, add a Sanctuary in the Sky, or any card that lists it as text, but if you have Sanctuary in the Sky already on your field, you can just search any fairy monster instead. Very good. But unfortunately for us, we don't have access to Sanctuary in the Sky yet. So we're going to toss the second random card, and we're going to search a card that lists Sanctuary in the Sky, which is the Agent of Life Neptune. And next, we're going to go into another extra deck monster that I think is required for this combo and not ideal realistically. Link Spider, which, whenever, here's its other effect of Night Lord Parshath, whenever a fairy is sent from your field to the graveyard, you can banish a fairy from your graveyard to special summon a fairy from your hand that's a higher level than what you banished. So there we go, we can just special summon the Asmodeus. And now we will link these two into Apollosa. Even though we're already in Nibiru range, I mean, sure, like, just make Apo as early as you possibly can. Then, gonna activate Asmodeus, and we are going to send the Agent of Destruction Venus, Evil Venus, Emo Venus. Now we're in a very good spot. Because now we can toss Neptune to revive Destruction Venus, and we can pay 1,500 life points again to revive all 3 Shine Balls. Now, unlike Creation Venus, Dark Venus is once per turn, and only one of its 2 effects per turn. You can't use both. Its other effect is you can banish Venus from your graveyard to special summon this from your hand. That's still a pretty good effect since it's a tuner, which is the whole point of this combo. But unlike Venus, you have to revive all the balls at once, and you can only do it once. So very important you keep that in mind. But now we will link summon into a link to fairy, and all these Shine Balls will go into the bottom of the deck for Venus to use later. And we're going to summon Moon, which will send Majesty Hyperion. And now we will link Moon and Dark Venus into Fibrax, which will go ahead and summon Earth from the deck. We could also summon an Orange Light or any other level 2 fairy tuner like Diviner, up to you, but we're just going to be summoning this. And then we will synchro the level 2 tuner and the Shine Ball into everyone's favorite level 4 fairy, Arclight. And now we can banish Neptune to special summon Majesty Hyperion. Neptune will activate to search Sanctuary in the Sky, and we're going to go ahead and activate it. And then finally, we can overlay these 2 for number 38, Hope Harbinger. Now, technically this could be Zombie Stein, which is a way better negate, but the most important part about this card is not its negate, it's the fact that your opponent will not be able to run over this Arclight or this Apollosa, because Titanic Galaxy will just absorb all of those attacks. Now, then you might be thinking, oh, what's this Fibrax for? This is something you're going to see in a lot of these combos, is Fibrax isn't going to tag into a random tuner. It's going to tag into something very specific on your opponent's turn, which we will go ahead and show off now. The Executor of Hades, Pluto. So this card is always an agent, which I guess honorary planet. But once per turn, you can banish this card. You can banish a fairy from your banish a monster from your graveyard. Target that effect monster on the field changes to face down defense position. However, if Sanctuary in the Sky is on your field or in your graveyard, this is a quick effect. So it's just I guess Invoked Raijin, Book of Moon, like all comparable to those cards. And then while it's in the graveyard, you can banish it to target a Sanctuary in the Sky in your graveyard or one in your deck and add it to your hand. So, very nice. So we got a Book of Moon, 2 Monster Negate, Spell Negate, Omni Negate, that's also a Floodgate. And this was Venus and 2 discards. And this was also assuming we had no tuner access. So this is combo 1. I guess I'll just stop numbering the combos, but I'm going to show off not only ones with a lot of bricks, but ones with very few bricks. Now for this next combo, I believe I've showed this off before, but I guess now it's better to show it off in like all of its prime function. And this combo is Earth plus Fairy Body. Now this Fairy Body can actually be a lot of different things. It could just be a random, like whatever the level 1 Time Lord is. It can be Protecting Spirit, whatever, Corbane. It can just be a lot of Fairy Bodies, but it just needs to be there. But now, let's go ahead and show this off. So we'll put our Fairy Body on board because this is the way this one works. Then we will normal Earth and add Neptune. Then we will link these 2 off into Moon, and Moon will go ahead and send Majesty Hyperion. Then we will toss the Neptune to revive the Earth, and then we will banish the Neptune to special summon Majesty Hyperion, which will go ahead and search Sanctuary in the Sky. Now, I want to keep this over here for the moment. So, one thing to always remember about Neptune is whatever it summons out cannot be tributed. Period. So, why does that matter? Well, because we are on summon 5. So, if our opponent's like, hey, Nibiru, this is what your board's going to look like. A tuner and another body. So as you can see, the utility of Neptune is very, very, very relevant in its ability to make whatever it summons untributable. Like, to your, like, mistake or to your opponents, like, it making it immune to tributing, like, if you revive Venus as your 5th summon with it, it's null. It's null. It makes Nibiru completely null, because that Venus is going to get 3 extra bodies out of your deck, and if you're on summon 5, it means you probably have access to Apollousa. So as you can see, very cool stuff, but let's just ignore that for right now. And we're going to synchro for 10, using the Majesty Hyperion and the Earth, and we're going to summon Master Flare Hyperion, which, as we know, can copy any agent or Hyperion or anything in your extra deck that lists Sanctuary in the Sky. And then we're going to go ahead and summon our 3 Shine Balls. So we'll pay 1,500. And then we can go ahead, link these 2 into Parshath. Now, I'll show a line in the future of if you just decide to toss the free Sanctuary. But right now we're going to toss a random card in our hand to search Dark Venus. And the only way we can do that, because this card doesn't list Sanctuary in the Sky. Both Venuses are like some of the only agents to not do that. So before we toss, make sure to activate Sanctuary in the Sky. But now we can search Dark Venus, and we can link these 2 balls into really anything. Just make sure you're aware that it's going to be link material, so don't summon anything that relevant. Like, Condemned Dark Lord's like a perfect example. And then we will link these 2 into Apollousa, and the Venus gets summoned out of the hand because of the Parshath. So we have a 2-material Apollousa, and now it's time for Dark Venus to put those balls back. And so we will summon our 3 balls, yet again. And then we can put this at the bottom and link these 2 into Fibrax, which will go ahead and summon a level 2 tuner. Let's just go with Earth. Then this will go to the bottom of the deck, and we will synchro these into Cupid Pitch, which will make it level 6, will increase its level by 2. And then, we'll go ahead and synchro the level 6 tuner and the level 2 non-tuner into Savage. So Chainlink 1 is Cupid Pitch, Chainlink 2 is Savage. We'll go ahead and equip any of the links, probably Parshath. Unless you have a way to put Parshath back in your extra deck, then you could equip the others, but that's not too relevant here. And then we will search a monster with 600 defense, which just so happens to be Neptune. And now you might be thinking, okay, that's cool. We're not done, because this card is still Venus, so we will pay another 1,000 life points to summon 2 Shine Balls out of the deck. So 1, 2, and we still have a Shine Ball for later, or we can make like a rank 2 and then a final Shine Ball, but I don't feel like dedicating that much space and time. So we will then link these 2 Light Fairy non-token monsters into Herald and Mirage Lights, and this is your end board. You have a 2-material Apollousa, you have Master Flare Hyperion, which is actually a disruption. When your opponent activates a card or effect, you can banish a fairy from your grave, target a card they control, banish it. So, pretty cool. Herald and Mirage Lights, which can negate any spell or trap by sending a fairy from your hand to the graveyard, like Neptune. Then we have Savage, which is an Omni-Negate. And then finally, the Apollousa and Mirage Lights are pretty low, so it might be easy to attack over them if it wasn't for the fact that we had access to Book of Moon. So, as you can see, very, very cool. Earth plus Fairy Body is like one of the best combos I've found with this deck. It's also one of the most Garnet-less combos in this deck, because you're just asking for a monster that you already play, plus like one of the deck's best normal summons, and then that's it. Like, everything else is what you already play. It's like one of the best combos for one of the least amount of bricks. Very, very strong combo. I like this one, but now that we've got like 2 Venus lists, let's go ahead and go into one that doesn't use Venus at all. Now, this combo literally doesn't include the existence of Venus in the deck list. Now, this was something formulated by a lot of players in the OCG, as well as like some parts of the pre-TCG agent community. And my opinion of this type of build is that it kind of is self-defeating. Basically, the idea, it makes a lot of sense. You eliminate Venus and all the shine balls and focus on a new, more mid-range strategy with the deck. However, the way agents are naturally designed, it's counteractive to what you're trying to do when you build it mid-range. Because the point of mid-range is to have a lot of good generic cards to fall back on, while also doing something very consistent and not a lot of input needed. But the way agents work, that doesn't really benefit them, because Venus as a card is not once per turn at all. So it doesn't matter how many times your opponent hand traps you, if one single Venus sticks, that's full combo. So it would be better to play more cards that allow Venus to resolve than it would be to just not focus on Venus. But I do want to give credit to this kind of build, because it is, if you're wanting to go a more slow, mid-rangey kind of control route, this is a good way to go about it. And what you would need for this combo is just Diviner of the Herald and a discard. So we are going to normal Diviner, and we're going to send Trias, whatever his name is, Trias, yeah. So this is another reason I'm not too fond of these builds, is even though the whole goal is to eliminate Garnets, they just instead replace it with new Garnets rather than old ones. But we are going to tribute the Diviner to special summon the Trias, and when Diviner is tributed, we get a level 2 or lower fairy, which we're going to summon Bootin. Yeah, like I said, you're just replacing which bricks you play. But now, we can go into Master Flare Hyperion, and then we can activate its effect, but instead of sending Venus or any other agent, we would actually send Parshath from our extra deck for its effect to be copied. So, this is actually before Nibiru range. So we can go ahead and discard a card, and we will search Lost Sanctuary because it lists Sanctuary in the sky. And then, oh, this will be banished. And then we have this in our back row. And on our opponent's turn, we'll just go ahead and activate it immediately. And we can set something like Sacred Water in the Sky, or Chorus in the Sky, or like any of the Sanctuary in the Sky counter traps. You could just do whatever. Now, what is this? So in 4 summons, you have summoned a Quick Effect Banish and a continuous Breakthrough skill. So once per turn, you can banish a fairy to target an effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of the turn, even if this card leaves the field. So basically, this is just a continuous trap that constantly negates the effects of your opponent's card once per turn. So very, very cool. But when it's activated, you have to set a card that lists Sanctuary or Sanctuary itself. That doesn't matter because that's multiple cards in this deck. But like, you have 2 disruptions off of 1 card in 4 summons. So like, I do understand the merit of this, but it's very, very counterintuitive in a lot of ways, I find. But like I said, I want to give it credit, and this is ultimately the combo cheat sheet for how you want to go about building this deck. So, on to the next one. This next combo does include Venus, and this one's kind of interesting because Earth plus Neptune can actually be a lot. And it's also, there's quite a few ways to get into this combo, but it's basically Venus plus a level 2 tuner, so as good as that sounds. But the way I want to go about this combo is I want to get to Krystia. So that's going to be the game plan, and this is going to be a little more freeball because I don't normally go for Krystia lines. Not because, like, Krystia isn't broken, but it's because of the fact that Krystia, it's a card that loses to a lot of cards in this format, and it's also not justifiable to side, because when this deck gets sided against, it sides into more cards that punish cards like Krystia. Like, more droplets, more Dark Rulers, so, not particularly ideal, or at least right now, but I do want to show a line, just in case someone finds out something stupid to do with it. So, we'll normal Earth, go ahead and search an agent, which will be Venus, and then we will toss the Neptune to summon the Venus out of our hand. And good news, this Venus can't be tributed. So we'll go ahead and pay 1,000 life points first. So we'll only be summoning 2 balls right now. Now you might be saying, why 2 balls? Because this is now summon 4. So on summon 5, we will go ahead and summon Moon and activate its effect to send Sanctuary card list that card. So that means even if they Nibiru here, you still have a Venus, a Shine Ball, and you're going to send a Majesty Hyperion from deck to grave. So, very, very solid. But let's go ahead. Like I said, this is just a your opponent doesn't exist combo. So we'll go ahead and send Majesty Hyperion. Oh, that is my bad. And then we will banish the Neptune, which will special summon the Majesty Hyperion. And then we will go ahead and search Sanctuary in the Sky. And we're going to have to activate it. I know that. So next, we will summon another Shine Ball. Our last one. And then we will turn these 2 fairies into Parshath. And with Parshath, we're going to discard a card. And we are going to search Krystia. Now, we are going to, let's see how we want to do this. Yeah, I think let's go ahead and synchro these 2 into Arclight, which then the Celestial Knight Parshath will trigger to special summon the Krystia from hand. So, this is a very, very basic combo, and definitely worse looking than other boards, but unfortunately the way Krystia works is neither player can special summon, so we kind of have to end here. But the reason I think, if you're ever going to go for a Krystia line, you also want to pair it with Arclight, because this is a card that allows you to punish droplets in many ways. Because if they send a monster from hand, they can't do that. So it means they can only send spells and traps, which Arclight can negate it. So they would have to establish a monster on field and do some other things. But it's like ultimately why I'm not a big fan of Krystia lines, is because it has to be like your last summon, and by then it really, if you like have 5 negates, oh, Krystia's not doing anything. I'm sorry. Even if you're scared of Lava Golem, you still have so many disruptions still. Because that board I showed off with Earth plus Body, that is so many disruptions. In order for your opponent to out that, they have to droplet send 5, and if you know the math on that, it's not great. It requires 6 cards, which is about as many as they have. And not only that, if they Lava Golem or Sphere Mode you usually still have like 2 to 3 disruptions. And that's not including what remains in your hand. Like, that's one of the things about this board, and it's why I don't like putting all my eggs in one basket when building boards like these, is because I want my opponent to have to deal with every different monster I have on board. So just making one big thing is not great, which is why I'm not doing that. But that's it for the Krystia line. Let's go into one last combo. Now, for this last combo, it's actually the same start as the last one, where it's just a combination that gets you to Earth Venus. But unlike all the other combos, this is a pure free ball. I'm just going to come across whatever I want to. I already know what kind of lines this can lead to, but I just want to mess around and see some kind of ideas. So let's start with Sacred Water in the Sky. We will search Earth, summon Earth, and then search Neptune to toss it to then summon Venus. Yay, fun. So we'll pay our 1,000. And then we will go ahead and... Ooh, my bad. We will go ahead and then summon our 2 balls, which we will then turn into Moon. And Moon will send Majesty Hyperion. Let's see, there we go. And we will banish the Neptune to summon Majesty Hyperion, which gives us a Sanctuary Search. And we could go for Baron here, and I think it would still be valid because you could in on Baron and a few other things. But no, I want to summon like 30,000 Shine Balls. So let's go into... where is it? Master Flare Hyperion. So we will summon our last ball out of the deck. So that's 1,500. And then we will go ahead and summon Parshath. So now, with Master Flare, we will go ahead and send Dark Venus wherever she is. Yep. And then we will pay 1,500. Not 15,000. And we will summon back the 3 balls from our graveyard. Now, let's see. I think... I'm trying to think. So I have Uranus in this build. So I'm going to go ahead and activate Sanctuary in the Sky. Or... yeah, let's go ahead and activate Sanctuary in the Sky. We'll toss a card, and we're going to search Uranus. Now, this card I actually don't think is very good in this deck. It's like very cool if you already have Sanctuary, but it's a level 5 tuner, and it's very clunky. But it is a card I want to show some respect because it is a level 5 special summon tuner. That's very useful in many cases. But we're going to go ahead and link these 2 into Apollousa. 2 material Apollousa. And then we will link these 2 into Herald and Mirage Lights. So now we can use our Venus. Let's just pay 500. And we will go ahead and summon 1 Shine Ball. And then we will special summon Uranus. And we'll actually activate its effect. We will send... actually, it doesn't matter what we send. Because what we're going to do here... is we're going to link these 2, which we could go for Savage here, but I don't think that's very useful. We'll link into Fibrax, which will summon an Earth or an Orange Light. Let's just go for Orange Light. And then we will synchro these into Herald of the Arclight. So, our end board is a Spell and Trap Negate, which technically we need a Fairy to do that, but that doesn't matter. We're pretty much Fairy. We're fine with Fairies. Also, another thing. So, I believe Cupid Pitch increases and decreases by the level of the tuner, but I think it counts in the graveyard. So there's like some lines that allow you to do this. Here, let's... nah, never mind. So basically, there's like a really strange way to manipulate levels with Uranus. But this end board, if you have a Fairy in hand, you have a Spell Trap Negate, an Omni Negate, a Banish, 2 Apollousa, and let's not forget, you always have Book of Moon to protect the Arclight from just being casually ran over, or the Apollousa, or the Herald and Mirage Light. So, a lot of negates, a lot of disruptions, just a lot of cool stuff. And that's why I wanted to make this video, is because of how open-ended agents are as a deck. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do with it, a lot of really fun things, and yeah, hopefully you enjoy this video, and I hope this has like been helpful if you're deciding to pick up the deck. Give me extra internet validation, because man, this is quite a process, and I put a lot of time to this deck. Look at my Twitter, look at my drawings, and blah 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 blah, whatever. Remember the death robots, because if you don't, you will be dead. But yep, that's about it. Thank you all for watching, and remember, Master Interflex will take your soul.